Hello and welcome to today's class. Our theme is around the element of fire and what kind of lights our fire, what gets us going. And specifically, when we're feeling tired or dragged out and we have to finish something, maybe getting to the end of a project. This is my personal issue, is as I can see the finish line on a project, I lose my steam. And so I've had to really work over the years to find that extra 99% of the energy to do the last 1% of the task. And, looking into what motivates me. So sometimes it's other people, cheering me on. Yay, good work. A little bit of praise can go a long way when someone is struggling. So that might be relevant to you, or you might be the one encouraging someone else. And sometimes it has to come from within. So yesterday, it was a nice day for gardening, and I've been trying to weed all my garden beds. And I got close to the end, and I thought, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I just want to go in and eat dinner now and leave this project. And I had, about 10 or 15 minutes more work to do. So kind of imagined the outcome and kind of kept myself going and thought about the theme of this week that also inspired me and kept me going. So today we're going to work on some poses that create a little bit of heat in the body, working with the big muscles of the legs. And the idea is to kind of check in as we get tired and find this balance between, do I need to push myself a little to stay in this pose because I'm feeling kind of lazy or done? Or is it that I'm holding this pose, but I'm creating a ton of tension and I need to come out of the pose? Right? So sometimes we need to give ourselves a little push and light that fire under us to keep us going. And other times, maybe you're someone who already pushes yourself too much. And your lesson is to know when to back off, to know when to, not feed that fire, which fire is great, right? But it can be dangerous. So we want to feed the fire and keep the flame going, but we don't want to overdo it and create the potential for injury. So really finding that balance between, not enough and too much. And one of the ways that you can check in with yourself is asking yourself, even though this is effort for me to do this pose and to stay in this pose, can I engage in that effort in the most easeful way possible? So can I find ease in my body? Can I relax maybe shoulders, jaw, or whatever isn't needed for the pose and still be able to be in the pose? And if the answer is no, my recommendation is just come out of the pose, maybe rest for a minute, come back in, and really make it your own in terms of how much you push yourself. And if you already know you're someone who pushes until you're exhausted, then your job today is to back off a little. And if you're someone who's always backing off and, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do this, then maybe your job today is to push a little more and to check in. Is it really too hard? Or is it just you don't really feel like doing it? Right. So there's where we're heading today. And I'll see you on the mat. We'll start lying down as we usually do. So you can come to a comfortable lying down position. And if you feel like you prefer to sit for the first little bit of centering, feel free to sit. Otherwise, lying comfortably on your mat. Just take a moment to tune into your surroundings. Feel the temperature, the pressure of the ground beneath you. Maybe tune into the rhythm of your own breath if that's a comfortable focus for you. And check in with any tension that you may be noticing in your body. And if possible, can you soften and relax that tension? So perhaps for you, that's around the face or jaw. maybe neck and shoulders, arms, hands, checking in, softening where it's possible. The belly and lower back, also areas where it's quite common to hold tension in the body. Checking in there. Tuning into the area around the hips and thighs. All the way down to your feet. And take a few nice, easy, but full breaths. With your exhale, being aware of any tension you could still release in your body. At the same time, remaining alert and awake. We'll take a few more breaths here before we start some movement. And when you're ready to begin to move, you can start by bringing your knees up into your chest and moving the knees towards you and moving the knees away from you. If you want to coordinate your breathing here, exhale as you draw the knees in and inhale as you move the knees away. So as always, you can move and breathe freely if that's better for you. You might try a few little circles. Feel the weight circling around on the ground. Maybe around the sacrum, or if you bring the knees in a little more, massaging the lower back. And you can also try going side to side, see how that feels for you. And let's keep the right knee in and bring the left foot to the floor. Excuse me, and stretch the left leg straight out as you gently squeeze in with the right knee. A couple of breaths here. The knee can be a little further away or closer in. Try to keep your left leg active. Toes point up, heel pressing down. And then let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg extended. Again, right leg is active, heel down, toes up, reaching out from the hip to the heel. And a couple more breaths here. And then bring that knee back to the chest. Gently squeeze in. And we'll take the left foot to the floor again. And reach the right leg up toward the ceiling. The hands can come behind the thigh or move away from the leg. So you're stretching up and bending in. So we're looking for just a nice, easy stretch in the back of the leg as we reach up, and then releasing that stretch all together as we bring the leg in. Try to keep your neck, face, and jaw relaxed. So holding the leg is optional. If it feels like you're straining to reach, then just let go. Circle your ankle around next time you find your leg straighter. One way and then the other. And then relax your foot, give the leg a shake. Right. And then press the heel toward the ceiling. And if you want a little bit more stretch here, gently guide the leg toward your body. You can keep as much bend in the knee as you like. And if you feel a lot of stretch in the back of the leg and you want to do a little massage here, you can run the hands up and down to create a little heat, or dig your fingertips in. And another nice option, if you take your hands and interlace your fingers, if you can reach behind the leg like this, You'll bring the heels of your hands on either side of that big group of muscles and gently squeeze in. So you can run up and down the back of the leg a little, squeezing or pressing or rubbing. Great. And then let's bend that knee again, bringing the knee in, and then extend that leg along the ground and extend the other arm behind you on the ground and reach that whole side long. Imagine you're breathing from your armpit to your hip. Send the breath right down as far as it will go into that right side. Imagine breath only in that right side of your body. Good. And then as you're ready, you'll slowly release the arm, bend the knee. Maybe check in for a moment how it feels on the right side of your body versus the left side, if you can notice any difference after doing a bit of stretching on the right. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the left knee in and work to extend and then bend that leg. So any amount that feels like a nice, easeful stretch for you. So we're not forcing the leg straight, just moving it until you feel a little bit of stretch and then releasing. You can leave the leg in the air and circle the ankle around. Again, holding the leg is optional. If it's more comfortable to let go, then let go. And you'll circle one way and then the other. And then relax the ankle, give the leg a little shake. Again, if you want a little more stretch, you can reach to the calf or the thigh and gently draw the leg in, bending the knee as much as you need to maintain a nice, easeful stretch here. And again, you can add a little rubbing or digging in with the fingers or squeezing with the heels of your hands to invite a little bit more circulation, movement, and warmth into that area. These muscles are often tight for people, so if it feels like piano strings in the back of your legs, you're not alone. You want to feel the stretch in this middle area, the belly of the muscle, not up on the sit bone here. If that's the case, bend your knee or back off a little bit. So you don't want to feel a pull at the tendon. Good. And then let's bring the knee in. We're going to stretch that leg out on the ground and extend that arm. So left leg, left arm, the one we were just working, extending out on the ground. And again, breathing into that space from the armpit through the side of the rib into the waist, maybe even feeling a little bit of movement with your breath down towards the left hip. As you're ready, lowering the arm, bending the knee, and we'll bring both knees in and extend both legs. The arms can either reach behind, out to the sides, or overhead for this one. And then back into the chest. So you could inhale as you extend the legs, exhale as you draw in. Whichever arm movement feels best for you is fine here. You can vary it up as I'm doing as well. If you want to change each time, that's fine. Right, and the knees back to the chest. You can rock a little side to side. And then releasing your feet to the floor. So pause here for a moment, come back to your breath. Notice any sensations that may be present. And then as you're ready, we're going to shift over to all fours. So you can roll onto your side first, make that transition a little bit easier. And then coming up and making your way onto hands and knees. If you want to use a blanket to support your knees, you can do that. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. If your feet tend to cramp, you might try tucking your toes under. Otherwise, feet can be flat or tucked, whatever's more comfortable. So here, a little inhale and arch. Bend your elbows a little, draw the chest forward and shoulders down and back so you're not dumping into your shoulders, but reaching out. And then with your exhale, you can round the back or come to child's pose. Repeating that movement a few more times. Going at your own comfortable pace. And then we'll start to alternate, raising opposite arm and leg. So diagonal pairs, reaching out with your inhale, coming down, rounding or going to child's pose on your exhale, and alternating sides. So next time you come up, other arm and leg, stretch out, and coming down. Great, and then when you've done equal number, if you remember which side you started on, finish on the other side, you can do some circles for the hips, moving the hips toward one heel and then the other and back up. Let the head move if that's comfortable, the whole body, kind of like a snake, moving whatever way feels good. If you want to vary the movement and make a figure 8, you could wind your way forward and back, or maybe it's just a little tail wag side to side. And if you like, you can rest in child's pose. If you're feeling a little more energetic and want a bit more stretch here, you might choose to come up into downward dog. Or you might keep moving from all fours to child's pose. So we're going to move into Warrior One now. And if you want to use blocks under your hands to make this easier, and you've got blocks, you can use them. And you're either going to step forward with your left foot from downward dog or from all fours. So from all fours, you might lift the hand on the left side so you can bring the foot forward, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee, maybe step the foot a little forward and turn the toes toward the right. So you want to make a nice, easeful stance, not too wide, between your feet front and back. And then when you're there, you can slowly lift up into Warrior One. So in Warrior One, the front knee bends as far as over the ankle, not further. It could be less. So the less you bend the knee, the less you'll experience a back bend in this pose. As you bend the knee and keep the shoulders over the hips, there's more extension in the spine. So from here, we'll come forward. You can bring the hands to the thigh or the shin. Blocks, if you've got them, or the ground. And lifting back up. So breathing in as you lift, if you're coordinating your breath. Breathing out as you go forward. You can always move and breathe freely if that's more comfortable for you. Go at your own pace, which may not be the same as my pace. And next time you come forward, you have a choice to either step forward or step back to switch sides. So the easier option is to step forward. The more challenging option would be to go to downward dog. So then you're either stepping the left foot back from forward bend or stepping the right foot forward from downward dog. And when you get there, same thing. We'll repeat warrior on this side, lifting up with a breath in, and then coming forward as you exhale. Lifting up and coming forward. If possible, and it's comfortable for you, allow your head to release down as you come forward. Next time you come forward, we'll stay there and we'll step forward, bringing the feet side by side, bringing your hands to your shins or your knees to find a little bit of extension, shoulders back, chest forward, elbows in. Take a breath in. Exhale to soften and sink down. Inhale and lift all the way up. And then exhale to let your arms float down to your sides. So from here, feet a little bit apart, and we're going to circle the hips. So you can bring your hands onto your hips if you like. And circle the hips. Keep the knees soft. And circle the other way as well. Right, and then come back to center, and you can keep the feet wide, shoulder width or slightly wider, whatever's comfortable. We'll take one arm up, breathing in, exhale, reach to the side. As you come up, switch arms, breathing in, exhale to the other side. And again, if you want to move freely with the breath, just breathe normally and move at a pace that's comfortable for you. If you're coordinating the breath, switching arms as you inhale and come up, releasing to the side as you exhale. Right, let's stay for a few breaths on this side. Try to keep this upper shoulder back so you're not twisting. It's a straight side bend. And think about lengthening the inside of that curve as well as the outside. Breathing here. Coming up and then switching, breathing in as you lift. Exhale, releasing to the side. And a couple more breaths here. And then lifting. We'll take a breath in and extend the arms up. As you exhale, bend your knees. You can turn the palms toward the ceiling, bring the hands to the lower back if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, brace against your thighs. And then inhale, lifting up. So we'll repeat that. Exhale, forward. And inhale to lift. Great, and then releasing the arms down to your sides. You can bring the feet in for a moment, give the legs a little shake. And we're going to come into Warrior Two. So in Warrior Two, the feet are apart, and the wider the legs are, the more challenging this pose becomes. So I'll demonstrate with the legs in this position, not too wide. If you want to go wider, you can do that. So you're going to turn. Let's all turn the right foot straight out toward the right. Your hips might turn a little bit with your foot, and that's fine. And as you bend your knee, you want to check down and make sure that your knee is tracking straight over your ankle. And you don't want to go further than your ankle with your knee. So stacking knee and ankle or even slightly straighter is fine. So what you might notice is with my feet this close together, there's not that much bend in this knee. As I move this foot back, if I want to keep the knee over the ankle, the bend gets deeper and the effort gets a lot more. So you can adjust by wiggling that back foot in or out to find the position that's best for you. We're going to stay in this pose for a bit, so you want to make sure that it's comfortable for your legs, but also that it's a bit of effort. From here, you can extend the arms to the sides, parallel to the ground or lower. You don't want the arms coming up, or the shoulders will often come up with them. Extend from fingertips to fingertips. If you like, you can look out over your right hand. That would be the usual gaze or drishti for this pose. If that bothers your neck, just look forward. Keep extending through the arms. At some point, your arms will start to get tired. And if you can maintain this position with ease in the effort, you can stay with the arms in this position. If you need to give a little break to the arms, bend them a little, turn the palms up, let your arms relax a moment, and then maybe come back into the arms of the pose. If you feel like your thigh is getting tired, again, you can either stay with that, find the ease in the effort, or you can move the legs straighter to give yourself less effort. Right, a couple more breaths here. And then let's take the hand or the forearm down onto the thigh and reach the other arm up. Maybe overhead, maybe just straight up, maybe to the lower back, depending what's more comfortable for you. And then extend long from your back foot up to your fingertips. And we'll lift all the way up. Back to warrior two. Lower the arms. Turn the feet parallel. And let's step the feet together for a moment and shake it out. And then we'll work on the other side. So feet, again, a little wider than shoulder distance. And if you want to work harder, make the feet even wider. So we're going to turn the left foot now out to the left. Again, bending the knee as far as over the ankle, not further. My stance is a little wider on this side, just for demonstration. You can make it wider or narrower as suits you. And then inhale, arms to the sides. Again, roughly parallel to the ground or slightly lower. Shoulders down and back. Upper body is perpendicular to the ground, so you're not leaning one way or the other. And if you like, you can look out over your left hand. If you want to work harder and your knee is not over your ankle yet, sink down a little bit more or even wiggle the feet further apart. If you need a little less, move the front leg a bit straighter or straighten it. And if your arms need a break, take a break by turning the palms up and letting the elbows release down. Breathing here, staying strong, noticing if you get tired and if tension comes into your body, adjusting so that you can stay as soft as possible. And again, you can take the forearm down to the thigh. This hand can come behind the back, reach straight up, or extend overhead. Overhead, the palm would face the would face the floor, and extending from the back foot out through the upper arm, or again, wherever it's more comfortable for you. When you're ready, lifting all the way up. Warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Turn the feet parallel. release the arms down and bring the feet together. Give a little shake. And let's do a forward bend to release and bring the body back to a balanced place through the hips and spine. Taking a breath in, extending the arms overhead. Exhale, either elbows or hands to thighs, or reaching further down as is comfortable for you, and then back up with a breath in. Continue at your own pace. Great, and then releasing the arms down to your sides. So the next pose we'll work with is another one of the warrior poses, Warrior 3. And in this pose, it might be helpful to have a chair, blocks to work with, or something, in that height range. So I'm going to use blocks here. And I'm going to bring the blocks just near my feet, about shoulder distance apart. So if you're working with a chair, you could have the chair just in front of you. We'll take a breath in and reach up. And exhale, coming forward. And if you take your hands onto your blocks or onto your chair, and if you've got your blocks right beside your feet, you'll step them forward about a foot or so. Bend your knees a little. Find a little length in your spine. So lift the tail, draw the chest forward. So we don't want to be reaching down with a round back, but with a nice long spine. So again, that could be hands on a chair, which may be easier if you're feeling a little stiffer this morning. And then from here, we're going to stretch one leg straight back. Try to keep the hips level and the toes pointing down to the ground. Keep lifting through the heart. So there's a tendency to round here. You want to find that lift. Good. For those of you who are feeling extra charged today and want to light a bigger fire under yourself, you could come up onto your fingertips and maybe even extend the arms to the sides. So that's a good option if you feel well balanced today and you want to work a little harder. If you're feeling tired, check in. Is that the tired of, I'm exhausted and I need to stop, or I might injure myself, I'm full of tension, or is it the kind of feeling of, I'm kind of done with this pose, in which case maybe find a little more ease and a few more breaths. Whenever you're ready to release, lower down, bend your knees. Inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, release down. Take a few breaths. And then we'll move to the other side. So inhale, lifting up. Exhale, come forward. If you've taken your blocks forward, they should be in the right place for you to line up your wrists underneath your shoulders, heels underneath the hips. So forward or back until you find that alignment. And then from there, you can raise the other leg up. Again, you want to find a little lift in the chest, so you might even come to your fingertips or using something higher than blocks if you need to. Think about level across the back of the hips, toes of your back foot pointing down. And again, if this feels easy for you and you want to work a little harder, you might take the arms out to the sides. And either stay there or come back if you need to. We'll take a few more breaths here. And then slowly lower that leg. Bend your knees a little. Inhale. and lift. Exhale and release. Take a few breaths here, sink into your heels. Find a lift in your heart. Great, and then let's take the feet a little bit apart, shoulder width apart or so. We'll do another forward bend, taking the arms up. This time as you come forward, bend your knees. Take your forearms to your thighs. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, coming forward. If you like, you can stay for a few breaths in that forward bend. And then slowly come up, reaching the arms overhead. Exhale and release. Wiggle the feet a little bit further apart. For this one, you might find it helpful to have blocks, but they are truly not necessary for this pose. So we're going to move into a dynamic twist here. It starts with the arms to the sides and the feet a little wider. As you exhale, you're going to twist to one side, bringing the hand across the opposite leg. The other hand can rest on your lower back, and you can reach anywhere down that leg, or maybe to the block, or if possible, the floor. You're going to lift that back shoulder and look behind you. Coming up, you'll breathe in to center, exhale, moving any amount to the other side. Continuing like that. Inhale and exhale. As always, you can move and breathe freely if that's more comfortable for you. One more to either side. If you remember where you started, finish with a twist to the opposite side. If you don't remember, then one or two more until you feel complete. And then coming back, you can lift the arms all the way overhead and release down. Bringing the feet in to about hip distance apart. And bring the hands together. Press the palms down so the elbows are in a straight line along the forearms. And we'll take a breath in and raise the arms up. Find a little bit of an extension in the back. Exhale, big circle around. Bring the palms together behind your back. Lift the heart as you reach the arms down. Big breath in. Exhale. Slide the hands down the legs to a forward bend. And then inhale, hands to shins or knees, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and lift all the way up. Exhale and release. So we'll move into chair pose. There's a few different ways you can do this pose. Easiest way is to keep the hands on the thighs. Otherwise, arms overhead or out front. It makes the pose more challenging. This is sort of medium challenge. This is greater challenge. So let's try it each day once, and then you can decide what works better for you. And we'll take one breath each time. So taking a breath in, come up. As you exhale, you want to come into chair pose where your hips move back and knees stay more or less over the ankles, chest lifts, hands on the thighs. Take a breath here. Inhale, lift up. You can either stay with that, or if you want to challenge yourself more, arms out front. Keep the chest lifting. Take a breath here, and then lift up. Release the arms, and we'll do one more, this time keeping the arms overhead. If you choose, you can always do one of the other two versions we just did. Lifting up, breathing in. Exhale, sitting back. Take a breath. Lifting up. Exhale and release. Take a few breaths here. We'll go back into the pose and we'll hold for a few breaths. So same instruction here. Find that fire that allows you to have the energy to hold the pose without bringing tension into the effort. Or if you feel like there's too much tension or there's some strain happening, then best to come out of the pose or come to an easier version. So easier, more challenging, most challenging. So when you're ready, we'll come up with the arms, breathing in. As you exhale, find the position that works best for you. And we'll stay for a few breaths. If you want to work a little harder, arms raise higher, hips sink lower. So whatever version you're choosing, you can always change it. And as you get tired, really checking in with that balance between lighting a fire and staying with it versus if there's more tension, then you can soften with ease, coming out or lifting a bit or bringing the hands down. Couple more breaths. And then inhale, lift. And exhale to release. And let that go. Give it a little shake. Release. So one more pose here, which is adding a twist to that chair pose. Two ways to do this. One is a little bit easier where we keep the feet apart, and as we come down into the twist, we take the elbow on one side to the inner thigh on the same side and press in with the thigh, out with the elbow to create a little resistance and turn towards the opposite side. Right, so that's the easier version. More challenging version, you'll bring your feet together. I'm going to go the same direction just to demonstrate the same thing on the same side. So from here, breathing in, this time we're taking this elbow to the opposite outer knee, outer thigh. So I'm going to sink down. I'm going to take this elbow all the way to the outside of that thigh, pressing into my palms, elbows in a straight line, looking back at my upper elbow. And then coming up. So those are your two options. Easier, feet apart, elbow to the same knee. More challenging, knees together, elbow to the outside. Not the knee actually, the outer thigh above the knee. You don't want to press against the knee. So choose your option. I'm going to go for the easier inside of the knee option with the feet apart, but if you want to work in a deeper twist, feet come together. So we'll come up, bring the palms together overhead, exhale, palms come down as you sink the hips, knees over the ankles, like from this plane, so not out to the side or squeezed in, right? And also front to back. From here, take a breath in, take one elbow either to the inside of the same knee or the outside of the opposite thigh. Pressing into the leg with the elbow, resisting with the leg, breathing. Come to center, keep the hips low. Check that your elbows are opposite one another. Take a breath in and come to the twist on the other side. And you're breathing here. If you want to work harder, sink the hips more. Find that fire. Good, come back to the center, keep the hips low, one more breath, and then lift. And release. Good work. Give it a shake. Wonderful. And take the feet a little bit apart and roll the shoulders. One shoulder, the other shoulder. Let the hips swing, maybe let the head go. Just letting go of the effort of chair and twisted chair. Parvriti Utkatasana is the twisted chair. It's actually Ardha, half chair, so the full chair would be sinking right down onto the heels. So that is, if that is an option for you to do a full squat, I find it's a nice release for the low back. You can do it either coming to rest your sit bones on a block, and place the block just behind your heels, or you can do it just resting on your feet. If your knees or ankles don't like to squat, you're just going to come right onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. And if you're good with squatting, like turn the toes out a little bit so the knees can track out and give room for the pelvis to swing through. If you find your heels tend to lift, you might put a blanket underneath your heels or roll the end of your mat up a little bit to give yourself something to ground down through. We'll take a breath in. You can bring the hands together, sink down, either find your block behind you and resting on it, or just being in the pose. Squeeze the knees in a little, squeeze the elbows, press the elbows out a little, lift the chest, and take a couple of breaths here. Again, if your knees don't flex all the way, this will be an excruciating position for you to stay in which case you just hopefully didn't even go there in the first place, and just come onto your back. From here, press evenly into your feet, lift all the way up, and release. So then when you're ready, you can make your way down onto the earth. Bring your knees into your chest and move the knees forward and back if you like, or squeeze the knees and rock a little or circle around. Just letting go of the effort of some of those standing poses. And then as you're ready, let your feet come to the ground. And you can take your arms down alongside your body. And we'll work with bridge pose. Bridge pose can be done either with the arms staying at your sides, or as you prefer. We'll work dynamically on this pose to begin with. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, press down into your feet. Feel your tailbone start to curl away from the ground, and then inhale, lifting the hips, maybe taking the arms overhead. Exhale, coming down. And repeat that a few more times. Again, follow your own breath, or breathe freely as works best for you. Right. So you can come down and take a moment to rest. We're going to go back into that pose. And as you hold the pose, we're going to hold it this time. As you hold the pose, you can choose to stay with both feet on the ground, which is enough of a challenge for most, if not all of you. Or if you want to really challenge yourself a little bit more, you can raise one leg as you hold the pose. If you're going to raise one leg, you might start with the feet a little bit closer together so that the one foot that's left on the floor is more centered. Side. So either way, take a breath in. Exhale, press into your feet, feel your tailbone start to curl up. You might leave the arm your sides this time as you lift the hips, maybe wiggling the shoulder blades in. If you can clasp your hands and that feels comfortable for your shoulders and elbows, you can press the arms down with hands clasped. If you have to bend your elbows and your hands lift and it's not comfortable, then arms separate, either palms down or up. So whichever version works for you. Knees stay over the ankles as long as that's comfortable for your knees. And we'll either stay here, or if you want more effort, bringing one knee in, raising that leg up. If you're working with one leg up, at some point, you're going to switch sides. Breathing. If having the legs up feels like too much, bring them down. Find a little lift and stay with both feet on the ground. So same instruction here. If it feels like too much and you can't find ease in the effort, you're going to slowly lower down. If you want to work a little bit more, and you can work with finding that ease in this pose, and stay a few more breaths, either both feet on the ground or one leg in the air. When you're ready to come down, if you've brought the arms and shoulders in, you can wiggle apart. Slowly release them. And knees coming in, any movement that would feel good here. And then slowly release your feet to the floor, extending to the sides. And we'll do a little gentle twist, Jatara Parvriti, taking the legs to one side, turning the head the opposite way, and then coming back to center and going the other way. So exhale as you go to the side if you're coordinating your breathing. Inhale as you come to the center. Take your time. The feet can either stay side by side, or if you feel like you'd like a little twist, you can line the feet up together and one foot stays on top of the other as you go side to side. And that will be a deeper twist. It's good for you to keep the feet together rather than apart. So continue a couple more times. And at any point when you feel like you've had enough twisting, you can optionally stay in the twist for a few reps to the side. Pose, knees to chest. You can move the knees forward and back, or repeat the movement we did earlier, stretching the legs up and back into the chest. Take as much time as you need with this movement. When you feel nicely rebalanced and ready for Shavasana, if there's any other movement that you want to do, feel free. And then gradually make your way to stillness for Shavasana. So you can stay lying, cover up if you need to. Make whatever little adjustments you need to be comfortable. And then allow yourself to let go altogether of the effort of today's practice. So we had moments of a little more effort, finding the ease in the effort. And where ease wasn't possible, allowing ourselves to release from whatever pose we were in. So you might take a moment to reflect on how that process was for you today. Are you someone who backs off easily, maybe too easily? Are you someone who pushes, and maybe pushes too much to exhaustion or injury? Most of us are somewhere in between and can go one way or the other depending on the situation. But simply noticing how your response was to that instruction to stay with the effort if possible, but back off if necessary. And then let that go. Feel your body start to perhaps soften a little as you let go of that effort. Maybe tune into your breath again if that's a comfortable focus for you. And allowing yourself to sink down a little into the earth as you exhale. Softening the muscles of your face, your jaw and neck. And feeling the shoulders and arms release. Let your hands be totally soft. Exhale and feel the weight of your rib cage sink down. Your belly soften and the lower back release. Exhale, feel the weight of your pelvis sink down and all the muscles around your hips soften. Your thighs release. Knees, calves, ankles, and feet letting go. Nothing you need to do right now. Nowhere else you need to be. Simply enjoying a moment of rest after the effort of the practice today. I'll share a short chant with you today that honors the Hindu goddess Durga, but the qualities that she embodies are really the main focus. This quality of perseverance, fieriness, getting things done, being present, all of the qualities that we were looking to increase today in our own selves. Om Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durge Prachodayat. So if you're ready to get on with your day, you can start to add in some movement. And if you prefer to stay a little longer in Shavasana, then just ignore the rest of what I have to say. And you can just stay where you are for as long as feels right for you today. And if you've decided to come out of Shavasana, you can roll to your side and make your way upright. Bring your palms together, and as you go through your day and maybe even your week, noticing when you start to lose steam, and come back to this theme. What is required in that moment? Is a little more effort required to finish a task, or perhaps it's time to admit that maybe it's better to leave that task for another time. Namaste. Have a great day.